Gianni Versace, born on December 2, 1946, rose through the ranks of fashion at an incredible speed, creating a million-dollar empire. Unfortunately, his success was cut short when he met a tragic end. Gianni grew up in Reggio Calabria in the south of Italy, where his parents, Antonio and Francesca, worked as an appliance salesperson and a dressmaker and clothing store owner, respectively. Together, they had 4 children: Fortunata, Santo, Gianni, and Donatella. However, tragedy struck the family when Fortunata passed away from tetanus at the age of 6 after scraping her knee at a carnival. From an early age, Gianni was fascinated by fashion, particularly by his mother's talent as a dressmaker. He watched his mom create beautiful wedding dresses for the brides in their community, and he not only observed her making the clothes, but he also admired the chic women who came into the shop. Spurred on by his mom's talent, Gianni made his first dress at the age of 9, a beautiful blue one-shoulder evening gown. His mom was delighted, and Gianni rejoiced in pride. Little did anyone know that Princess Diana would eventually wear a version of that creation some 40 years later. Gianni's dream to become a fashion designer started very early, and by his mid-20s, he had moved to Milan and was already earning 6 figures a year as a designer. At the time, Milan was the hot new epicenter of fashion and a true place to be for both aspiring and established fashion designers. In 1978, he set up his own boutique in Milan's Via della Spiga, which is the main shopping street in Milan. His first collection was shown on March 28 at the Contemporary Art Museum Permanente, and it was refreshing and oddly provocative. People loved it, and Gianni soon became the darling of Milan. This, in turn, ignited a bitter rivalry with Giorgio Armani, and the saying went, "Armani dresses the wife, Versace dresses the mistress." Over the next decade, Versace exploded onto the scene, and wanting to leave his mark on the world, he made sure to revolutionize the fashion industry by doing a couple of things differently. One of those things was using multiple elements in the same dress, which was still very uncommon at the time. Gianni's designs were bold, colorful, and often featured motifs like Medusa heads, Baroque scrolls, and Greek keys. He also introduced the concept of the supermodel, making household names out of women like Naomi Campbell, Cindy Crawford, and Claudia Schiffer. Gianni Versace was a fashion designer known for his love of mixing and matching materials and creating vibrant, sultry, and fun clothing. His creations ranged from lace and leather to metal studs and Swarovski crystals, and everything in between. The Versace brand stood out from others in the industry because of their independence. The company controlled its entire product cycle from design to retailing and marketing. This desire for independence allowed them to maintain their unique identity and quality. Gianni was not only an exquisite designer, but also a genius marketer. He was the first designer to take his runway shows to major markets such as Paris and New York and stressed the importance of using supermodels and high-level photographers to showcase his designs. He made stars of Linda Evangelista, Christy Turlington, and his runway show favorite, Naomi Campbell. Versace's provocative style offered a refreshing contrast to the simplicity of his predecessors. He believed that the whole idea of getting dressed is not just to cover yourself, but to be attractive. Gianni also recognized the immense brand clout he could receive through celebrities. He began making clothes for Elton John, Princess Diana, Michael Jackson, Cher, and countless other celebrities. Suddenly, everyone wanted to wear the same dress that Cher had worn or the same shirt that Elton John had on. This meant a flood of new customers for Versace, but would he be able to keep up? Besides knowing who to rub shoulders with, Gianni also had a knack for discovering and nurturing raw talent. He treated the models chosen by Versace like they were part of his family. By the early 90s, Gianni became increasingly emboldened by his success and launched his most daring clothing line ever, the Miss S&M Bondage collection. Donning tight-fitting leather and an authoritative look on their faces, the models strutted the catwalk, and while the show was highly controversial, it also proved insanely popular. After the show, Gianni even joked that half of Manhattan was now walking around in a harness. In the same year that Gianni settled in Miami, he spotted a beautiful villa in South Beach, bought it, and named it the Villa Casa Casuarina. Gianni loved the place, and after spending over $30 million in renovations, the iconic Versace mansion was established. For the next 5 years, Gianni lived here in peace. However, disaster struck on the morning of July 15, 1997. A 50-year-old Gianni was up by 6 a.m., made calls to Milan, finished up some more work, then headed out. He was a regular at the Ocean Drive restaurant where he bought a coffee, exchanged greetings with the manager, scooped up issues of Vogue and the New Yorker, and headed back home. Gianni walked up 5 marble steps and slipped his key into the lock on the iron gate, but at that moment, a dark-haired man with a baseball cap ran up the same marble steps. The man shot Gianni twice execution style, then turned around and casually walked away. Gianni had been gunned down by a 27-year-old spree killer, Andrew Cunin, who was found dead in a Miami Beach boathouse 8 days later. His murder sent shockwaves through the globe. Gianni's devastated siblings, Donatella and Santo, flew from Milan to identify his body, and his steps turned into a makeshift memorial with flowers and cards. 1 week after his passing, Gianni was given a funeral fit for a prince at the Duomo, Milan's soaring 14th-century cathedral. Everyone who mattered to Gianni was there, from his brother and sister to his favorite model, Naomi Campbell, and his favorite princess, Lady Diana. While more than 2,000 people filled into the memorial, camera crews were fighting for space outside. Gianni, a designer to celebrities and royalty, was known for bringing vitality and art to the fashion industry. Little by little, Versace had become more of a lifestyle brand, selling everything from bedsheets to tableware. In less than 10 years, Gianni had built an empire worth $807 million. Now his siblings had to take over. After Gianni's passing, his younger sister and muse, Donatella, fell into drug addiction. Things got so bad that she nearly lost her place in the company. Her older brother, Santo, oversaw the business side of the Versace brand, and the two clashed majorly. Born in 1955, Donatella was the baby of the Versace family, and she described herself as being the best-dressed girl in the city. Donatella became Gianni's advisor and inspiration when he founded Versace in the late 70s, and in the 80s, she even designed the company's Versace line. After Gianni's tragic death, Donatella took over as creative director, but her addiction was spiraling out of control. In 2004, at the encouragement of Elton John, Donatella Versace checked herself into rehab. After her release, she and her brother Santo, who acted as CEO, continued to drive the company forward. Donatella took on the role of head of design, and together they helped to create Versace's legendary legacy. 4 years prior to Donatella's rehab stint, Jennifer Lopez wore one of her most iconic designs to the 42nd Academy Awards. The jungle print silk chiffon dress, with its plunging neckline, was an instant sensation. Everyone wanted to see photos of J.Lo in the dress, and the obsession was so intense that it led to the creation of Google's image search function. Eric Schmidt, the former CEO of Google, said that the jungle dress was the most popular search query the company had ever seen. Donatella commemorated this moment in fashion history during the Spring 2020 Women's Wear Collection runway show. At the end of the show, a Google image search field appeared on a screen, with the command, "Okay Google, show me the Versace jungle dress." Images of J.Lo's original look from 2000 appeared on the screen, followed by the command, "Now show me the real Versace jungle dress." J.Lo herself then appeared, bringing internet history to life. Today, Versace is a billion-dollar empire, and Donatella still holds the position of creative director. The company was bought by parent company Capri Holdings Limited in early 2019 for a staggering $2.2 billion. Versace continues to be known for its sultry and alluring designs, symbolizing Italian luxury and exquisite quality, just as Gianni Versace had envisioned. If you have any additional details to share about Versace or Gianni Versace's tragic death, please share them in the comments. And if you're interested in seeing more inspiring business videos, be sure to check out our channel.